Um, thinking, I'm thinking about how this is crazy, and the last thing I did had that hanging up there. It's a coincidence that it's um. Anyway, thinking about how people don't care and they shouldn't, and it's very harsh. I really struggle with interacting with people. Um, they don't care. They don't care. And I've been trying more and more not to care. But it's very hard. I feel like, especially people that I meet that are like-minded, or that I see stuff it just describes how brutal it is. But I think I'm learning that, and I have thought over the years, what the fuck, this is not right. But to a certain extent, I feel like they can't care because it wouldn't work. And it hasn't worked for me consistently. I have to follow my interests, and it's really brutal. I do follow my interests, and I do care. Wait a sec. Wait a minute. I do follow my interests. I'm curious about other people and their thoughts, and it is part of my own world, and I do care. Maybe both can be true. I don't know. Um, but I see quite a bit of stuff online about I think also I find it inseparable, like me wanting to speak and do my thing and hearing about other people's things. But the way people speak about their things doesn't always fit into my thing. Like, I need to be. They don't say it in the right way. And there was something else that I was going to say that was interesting. And I want to be saying right now, not that any of this is interesting. I'm just trying to practice speaking and saying things because I think it's important that I get better at speaking and potentially putting my thoughts into a duration on time, into the practice of performance, and performance is just like time art, like flippin' Doctor Who. Woo! Maybe that's why I like. This is crazy. Often I think, I mean, throughout my life, I've thought, would it be better if it was in a different world or a different place where people cared more, or just things fit better? But I don't even know if that would help, because when people care, sometimes it's more like they're caring, in a way that serves themselves and doesn't serve me. And sometimes it does serve me, but often it's not putting in the actual work to explore things. It's just soothing something inside themselves that wants to help because of problems and not actually putting in the effort to work at it. I love all of these colours. Like these are my paintings, and I think that people don't give a shit about my painting, but I love my painting. I mean, it's one of the things that is definitely so me. Like these paintings, I mean, I started off doing a lot more like 3D and pastel, a lot more feeling. Like these are on the higher end in terms of looking pretty. Like there's a lot of shit that I've done that just looks like shit, but I almost love that more because that's the point, that it's about the process. It's supposed to look like shit. But these I look at with fondness too, because this one, I did a painting that's at home about an emotional storm, like a screenshot of the brain, or just the process of feeling. This one was like the other one I did was a particular subject, but this one's more a generic emotional storm. And they're oil paintings because I love oil. Using oil paints, like the texture, like when I look at this close up, especially with these lights on, this light off, don't know if you can see, but they just, like, this so reminds me of a spell. It feels like a spell to me, or like a magical process. And I'm trying to move into less abstract and more explore the creatures. Because when I do things, I sometimes see creatures or objects in it. I'm trying to bring out the creatures and create stories, because I really love Remedios Varo and like Leonard Carrington and surrealist painters that in that space. But they're all so angsty. I don't know. Like, if I painted like that, because my oil paints are at home, so I can't really do it yet. There's no time anymore. I keep thinking, because I want to explore speaking more, but I just don't have the time. And I feel like and when I do have the time, I'm trying to divide it up into a million things. I feel like maybe that's sending me down the wrong path. When I do try and do something, I don't do it in a very effective way. But I'm trying to find a way to get my thoughts out there. In an effective way, because I feel like there are lots of ineffective ways, like the efficiency of art when you put a thought out there. And it just goes almost to the like, squeeze all the juice out of that thought in a way that people are going to listen, because I feel like sometimes people make art and there's so much depth and meaning in there, but the way that it's put out is so not appreciated. I'm trying to do this in a way, I don't mind, because it is for me, I don't mind so much, but there is a sense of, like, I'm not totally satisfied. I want to talk to people about my thoughts more, but that's also a problem in how I interact with people. I do it wrong still. I say this like it gets better every day, you know. There's less and less having to fall back on myself, and that I was thinking about this yesterday, how it's harsh and metallic and cold when I have to hold my own emotions and I don't get to. Sometimes it's great feeling really sad alone, but sometimes when you just have to deal with it, sometimes it's really horrible. But there are times when I've dealt with my emotions alone, and it's kind of like a good feeling because it is extreme, and you get to look after yourself and you don't have to keep pushing yourself. But sometimes it's like I really wish I could talk through this or explore this that I think would be understood. So I'm still working that out, because I think for me the line between life and emotions and art, the art and the life and emotions, there isn't such a clear split in a way that is so. I don't know where to put the split, put the line down. Like there's a lot of nuance there. And I'm scared of making mistakes with that, because it's almost a blessing that people don't really give a shit. Like I'm worried if people do give a shit, what's going to happen to me, and which type of people give a shit. Because sometimes people don't see the right thing, and the way that, like when I existed before, I very much did not see myself as a proper person. I'm still trying to work that out, but it's like anything that I want to do, I could not do. Like I could not meet people in the same space, and I really viewed everyone else as sort of giants. And if I tried to go up to them, it would just, there's so much like uncertainty and anxiety in the way that I was, and I think now I'm more able to get that the good meanness out there and express that without having that stuff crushing me down. But it just makes me mourn, and I do wonder if there are like many people out there feeling like so anxious, and that like you've got this thing within you and you want to be able to interact with people in that way, but you can't. It makes me quite sad. I don't want that for anyone. But then when you do have to, like me now as a giant in compared to who I was, like the way I viewed myself, you don't really want to interact with that, because it's so, it's like when it's a celebrity and you're meeting fans, and why do you not respect the inside of yourself to meet that person as an equal? And why do you not respect the people in your life? Or you think you're so outside of that world that you have to place these people on a pedestal? That I find that strange. and sad, and I guess I saw people like that. But there's just a massive barrier between me and the world. Like, I feel like I'm much farther along the way now, but there's still, it's not all tickety boo. There's still a while to go, and I do feel quite stuck. I still don't feel it's like the little things like that you're scared to do, like just little awkward moments that you're scared to make happen, but you think that they never happen, these little awkward things, because they're so tucked away in the moments of life and you never see them. You don't think you have permission to make them happen, but they have to happen to move forward. And I find that strange. Like I needed to see them to have permission to do it. But then I just did it anyway because I didn't see it. You know, time is so strange. It's so spacious. There's so much time for just awkward, unimportant things that mean so much. I think they're the things that have allowed movement and momentum. Just awkward moments where you don't know what the fuck is going on. Because that's the important thing. Those are important moments. Or maybe I've seen those moments, but because I viewed those people like giants of important people, I thought they were sure in what they were doing. But back onto people not caring. I think I don't understand people who are just able to talk out from within themselves about things they're interested in because they need to, and I need to. But when I put it out there and they don't get it or it gets turned down, that is a massive blow, and it knocks my confidence to be able to keep doing that. And then that is very painful because I want to meet people in the middle. I don't want to attack you. Well, it's not an attack, but land over like a blanket and take control and everything and not allow for your turn because I want to meet you in the middle. But maybe sort of just talking and giving talks, not giving people the other opportunity to speak is my space, and then I can have those conversations. So I don't know where I can just speak. I guess that's why I'm practicing just speaking. I think some of my thoughts are funny because I've been thinking about where I can have the opportunity to just speak. And I know that stand-up comics do, like, there's open mics with comedy, and there's starting to be more open mics where people just do whatever. But I don't know if, because you gain momentum with these things and it gets easier and easier the more you do it. Like, I feel like if I just go up there for a couple of minutes, it's kind of going to be quite shit. And also with comedy, a lot of the time I don't say funny things. I need to move away from the pressure to be funny. But some of my thoughts are quite funny because they're just weird. And it's a way of viewing things that is not strange. I make strange links. I view things in a way that I can recognise in other when I see comedy, I can recognize that other people sometimes make these observations that I sometimes make. But then I also have this part of myself that needs to talk about how much pain I'm in, and I don't want to hide that behind a lay. It's raw and it's vulnerable, and I'm not gonna hide away from it. So I guess how to pair up these parts of myself, and I can't be funny unless I'm addressing that. And also I feel like ever getting up and speaking in front of people would be impossible. But I maybe I'll find a way, you know. The more I put myself out there, the more I can talk about things and find a way. There's a specific way of talking about things that I don't often reach, which is more productive though and gets you on the right path. I think it's the more honest I am, but that's so hard to find that streamline. Of what am I going to say? How am I going to? But you don't go with a plan, these things just fall into place. I need honesty exercises, pronto! How do I unlock, shatter, break? This is another thing I've written about before, how it doesn't shatter, like I keep feeling like it's about to break, but it just melts away bit by bit. The light, I'm gonna get to the light. I fall in and out of living well. Like just yesterday I came home and like sometimes I think, oh, I'm living so well. I'm looking after my space. I'm like making meals and tidying up while I'm brushing my teeth at the right times. But sometimes I just need to, like, this is like I slept all day and now I'm up all night because, you know, the night belongs to me. That's the thing. Just having time being my thing. So lots of the time when I run on a schedule that's dictated by the world, time doesn't belong to me. It belongs to other people. But when I think I found this throughout my life, when I stay up at night and I just follow the flow and do my thing, there's something really, really cool about that. And I haven't been able to do that so much. And doing it a lot would be unhealthy. And I used to do it a lot because I hated the day. And sometimes sleeping during the day sort of, it's kind of like you take back the day for your subconscious and your thoughts and your brain. But night time, being awake during the night time and not putting that pressure on yourself to go to sleep and fit in with the regular schedule, it's really something special. Like you're taking time back, you're working on your own thing. very fond. Very fond of that. And I keep going back to this phrase that I was like kind of obsessed with maybe over the winter months. Intimacy everywhere. I'm kind of revisiting that because the more I pretend, the more I don't put intimacy everywhere. And I'm thinking, how am I putting, and what do I want out of that phrase? Because I obviously don't want intimacy everywhere, because that like bastardizes intimacy. And when I have experiences with some people, it's like a false intimacy. I can feel something's off. Intimacy is like double-sided. When I say intimacy, I mean physical or emotional. The other thing I've been thinking about is how odd am I? I see a lot of people sometimes online who like own their oddness, but it's okay because they're hot. Well, some of them aren't hot. I don't feel hot, and I think that was dangerous at one point, but I'm not going to let it be dangerous, or I don't think it is so dangerous anymore, because I've realised that it is quite dangerous for me to not feel hot. I mean, I feel hot in myself on my own, but I don't feel like other people find me hot in the real world. And sometimes I'm like, why do I need that? I can't need that. Like, I tried to overcome needing that, but for some reason it is something that I need. I want to get to the bottom of that, and I want to talk to people about that. Why that's something that is needed. And that's not just something girls want, guys need that as well. That was something I was insecure about, because I thought it was a very feminine thing. But I think guys need it, maybe to a lesser extent, I don't know. I need to investigate that too. The need to be needed and gender. Because guys, they need to be needed in other ways, like practical ways too. The need to be needed has different subsections. Like in a maternal way, like, and then in a physical way. That's something to map out, the need to be needed, and how that manifests itself and why. The need to be needed or the need to be wanted, and the dangers of that. And that's something to explore and write about for me. How do I need to be wanted or needed? And how does that change with age and gender and all that lovely stuff? This reminds me of my grandmother's house for some reason, those lights. A lot of things have been reminding me of my grandmother's house recently, and I don't know how to feel about it. And also how I'm putting myself out there, because there are ways of different efforts and different attentions. Like, how am I imposing myself on the people in my real life? and how am I imposing myself on nobody? Because this is to like nobody. This is for practice, and it's a form of. I feel like it's a form of exhibitionism. Like, oh, someone could be watching. Because otherwise, I don't know. It loses its it loses something if I'm like. If I need to publish it and have it be like, oh, could someone see it? And that's like with the arena thing as well. RARE.NA. My arena website. Not my arena website. No, the website arena. My account on there. When I started writing things, and it was private, I needed to have that, not just like, what if someone's watching? And what the hell is that? There's something kind of exciting about it, and it feels more proper, but I wonder what that is, because it's like, I don't know what it's about. Because sometimes I feel like I'm building something important, but then, I mean, it's making all these links, but then sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is nothing. No one cares about this. But I think it's in the sweet spot of attention, kinda. So that's the only thing. How embarrassing is it to just pour your heart out every second and need to pour your heart out and have it just be sitting there with nobody really giving a shit? How embarrassing is that? But I gotta do it, you know? I think that was a massive thing. I just gotta own it, you know? You only see people doing that kind of thing, or just not even pouring their heart out, just doing stuff, but still getting attention, or pouring their heart out and getting attention. I mean, I don't really see, maybe I see it sometimes, people saying what they need to say and getting very little attention for it. But there's pride in that, you know. How strong have I had to be to just keep doing it? I think you gotta be proud. What else are you gonna be? Well, I think I'm all of the above. I'm embarrassed, I'm proud. But it's gotta happen. Because right now I'm like, all this is so embarrassing, but it's so special as well. It's so special that I get to share it as like these moments of meanness that mean a lot to me, and I get to share that. But I'm also worried about it taking the specialness out. But how else am I going to share it? And why do I feel the need to share it? This is the thing, there was this artist that came to our school, and I asked that question to her. And she was kind of like me, but then also so not like me. And I'm like, with what you do as an artist, I didn't say this is just my thoughts now. With what you do as an artist, how do you get that attention? I guess you're making proposals to people to put your art out there with all this properness. Properness is like bleh. In Rosworld, I don't think can I ever do like an artist statement. I think maybe the way I've succeeded with that in the past is to do it in a sort of satirical way, is that the only way I'm ever going to be able to put on properness and get into those things? It's going to have to be comedy. Like, and poking fun at it a bit, or a mockery of a database or archive. I think that's why I like Harry Hill. All this capitalization and artist bias, like how am I going to speak about myself in that way and have it be under my name? You know that I'm just writing this out. That's what I find embarrassing more than this. I cannot physically do that